Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there. Welcome to New Life Live. Really very happy that you're with us here today. It is Thursday, day after tomorrow. We're going to be doing right here in the same studio. I'm going to be here. Emotional freedom, and I've been talking about all the problems that you need to have to come to emotional freedom. But Dr. Jacqui Mack-Harris, talk about what it's like to be emotionally free. What is that experience of emotional freedom?
I think of it as living honestly. Being emotionally free, for me as an emotional avoider in recovery, means I don't have to be fine. Whatever I am, whatever is going on in that present moment, I can acknowledge and be present in, and I don't have to be stuck in it. Two things can be true at the same time. I can have some difficult emotions and yet still move forward in my life with whatever the thing is I'm doing at that moment. So it just feels like living more honestly. No more imposter syndrome. No more pretending to be okay when I'm not. And I am no longer willing to be uncomfortable while other people are comfortable, right? Tolerating the intolerable so that someone else doesn't feel discomfort is no longer my jam.
You know, I appreciate that. I want to hear from you, Jill. You know, what I think emotional freedom is that nothing from my past is negatively impacting my present. In fact, my present is better because I've resolved that past, and now I'm using that maybe to understand, help, or comfort others. And then I'm not worried about the future. I certainly have made responsible decisions to prepare for the future, but I'm not stuck because I don't know what's going to happen in the future. And in the present, I'm not in conflict all the time. I don't have a need to stir things up. I can truly experience some peace. But Jill, what would you say would be emotional freedom?
Well, to kind of circumvent the replaying of emotional scenarios that have held people captive, I think to break free of that, and so that they are no longer emotionally charged, and you no longer see that as as the core of your identity, right? Those are chapters in your life, but they don't rule your everyday.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. And an example of that is that sometimes we have been abused, and we are still wearing the shame of the abuse, even though it is the shame that needs to be borne by somebody else. We've taken it on, and and that shame does not need to be there. And so that's one example of that. And then there are others of we have no need to shame somebody else. We're free. So it's really a wonderful place to be when you can be at peace with others and at peace with the world. Or another way to look at it is when you are in a great place, you don't have a need to sabotage yourself or the safe place, since it might be so kind of uncomfortable or unknown to you. And that's what happens with some really great people. They end up in some great places, but they can't handle it. And I would even say the COVID phenomena has increased our ability to sabotage anything that feels good or satisfying or we're at peace with. We're going to be talking about all of that, emotional freedom. If you sign up, you will get a copy of this Creatures of Habit book, which talks about all the stuff below those habits. And it's a great, great book of insight and help. In the meantime, 1-800-229-3000. We're going to be taking calls here right after this. Glad you're with us today here on New Life Live. Hi, this is Steve Arterburn from New Life Live. Chris Williams and I are doing the Emotional Freedom Workshop A lot of people are you could literally say, in bondage from past trauma that has created an emotional web that they don't understand, and it prevents them from being free. A person that loses their temper regularly is not emotionally free. Someone who has anxiety just to get in the car and leave the house is not emotionally free. And walking around with the shame from a childhood or even a bad relationship as an adult, that is not emotional freedom, and we can help you get there.
The New Life Emotional Freedom online workshop is Saturday, August 20th. Steve Arterburn, Chris Williams, and Dr. Jacqui Mack-Harris will present information on the power of our emotions, procrastination, guilt and shame, and more. And small group leaders will help you process the information you learn. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or register online at newlife.com. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. You have no idea how glad we are here and you are with us. And if you need help, you call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And if you need some emotional freedom, same number. We'll sign you up. You can still do it. Let's go to our phone calls right now, and let's deal with Angel. New York City, New York, Sirius XM, channel 131 at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. They're in New York. Hi there. How are you? Angel.
Hi, Steve, how are you? How's everybody? Everybody's doing well. New York is surviving. And
no, that's important.
Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. We're going to be there this November for the Macy's Day Parade. Solomon is in the band. We're marching in the Macy's Day Parade.
That's awesome.
And all of us family members, we're going to be there.
New York is a fun time during those times.
Yeah. But something's not fun in your life. I think that's why you've called.
That's correct. I wanted to just see if you guys have any form of encouragement for me and I can share with my family. My mother is 90 plus, and I struggle watching her age. I have two sisters. We all have our roles to play with her, and I think we all do the best we can, and I think, quite frankly, we do pretty good, and I'm very proud of all of them. However, for me, even though I keep it to myself, I still struggle watching her age, and I am a man of faith. I'm a man of prayer, and God sustains me in these things, but I struggle with it. I just do, and I wanted to know if there's any encouragement I can receive from you and your panel, your wonderful panel, and on a day-to-day basis. I'm
so sorry that's troublesome. Mm-hmm. Is she healthy or not?
She's fragile. Her mind is, for the most part, very sharp and very entertaining, and she's just great. She's a blessing. There's no complaints. It's tough, man. It's just tough.
So, Angel, is because she's in her 90s, so obviously you've watched her body age. And that's great that you say that she's still sharp and with it, so that you still have ongoing relationship. I'm wondering if what's hard is that the time is limited and the anticipation of the loss. It sounds like you have felt connected to your mom for, your whole life. You've had her a really long time, and the thought of not having her around maybe is really too difficult to tolerate.
I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
Because I'm okay with that. I'm at peace with, God's plan
God's
for her.
Timing. Mm-hmm.
And but it's still a little difficult to watch.
So I wonder, Angel, if it's a progressive grief or perpetual grief.
Right.
There's been a lot of loss of what she can do. She's fragile, And so you're grieving these little losses, things she can't do anymore, places she can't go anymore, stuff she maybe did for the family that she's no longer able to do. That when my grandmother couldn't bake me a caramel cake anymore, I was sad. And sad, one, because I couldn't have the caramel cake, but it said something about where she was in life, that she wasn't able to do that anymore. And so I think you're in grief, and we don't always recognize it when it's not due to a death or having lost something tangible. Does that maybe feel true? Does it feel like this is just you're in this process and it's hard? And
right, all the mini griefs that lead up to the big loss. We expect the big loss, but we don't anticipate the mini ones.
Yeah. And being in the that generation where your parents are still with you, but also not as capable as they were before. And you said she's entertaining, her mind is sharp, so you still get to spend time with her and enjoy her, but you see her limitations, and then also maybe even seeing how hard those limitations are for her. I watch my father as he's aging, and my dad's in his mid-70s, but his vision is going, and he doesn't move as quickly as he used to, and it's hard for him. And there's concern that he has that sometimes brings me grief and sadness because I see it happening with him. And I would just encourage you to just continue to enjoy your time with her and to be in those feelings. Those feelings are a part of the relationship and are a part of the time you have with her.
Angel?
Well, and it's the empathy. Sorry, Steve. It's the empathy that you have for her, caring about how she's doing, how she's feeling, right?
Yeah.
That's part of a very connected relationship.
Angel, how old are you?
I'm 62.
Okay. A lot of times us men, when we hit 60 or so, we're kind of faced with, I'm not going to be here forever. And when we're losing someone like Mom, we're kind of faced with that more. And so losing a mom is sad anyway, but sometimes it represents our own mortality. And that's hard to deal with, along with losing Mom, because I think one of the big questions that us men we have to answer is, can I live as a man with limitations that come as I get older? Can I be a respected man when maybe I'm retired and don't make the money that comes in? Things like that. So I would just, does anything like that maybe ring true or not? It might be also very off, but...
I don't, it doesn't, what does ring is what was said before, the limitations, watching her limitations, understanding that she such a vibrant woman, raised 4 kids on her own, businesswoman. Just a dynamo. And watching, even hearing her saying, I can't do this, I can no longer do this, look at this, I can't do this. That's it. You nailed it with the limitations. That's where the, man, and I wish I could do it for her. And we do at a certain point, but we just can't. Just can't.
And you said you don't say it out loud, or you don't talk about it, but is there anybody in your life that you could, as a man, confidently share, here is the struggle I'm having with my mom's aging? Is there anybody like that you can go to and be open with? Who's that?
Oh, sure. I have my pastor. I have my brothers in Christ. I have my circle. My counselors. I'm pretty guarded in that area, and there are a few people that I can definitely be open with. So I haven't done it, but I can.
Well, that's what I would encourage you to do, because here's what I think is going to happen. If you'll take a risk and share, then one of those trusted people are going to say to you, oh, wow, I went through the exact same thing, and I feel for you. And so now you've got somebody that's partnering with you. They understand it. And then maybe somebody else can even tell you what they did that seemed to help. And I would just do anything other than just keep it to yourself and be strong for everybody else.
Steve, you just reminded me, I know of a group of women who did that with all of their parents are aging and going through dementia. And on their job, they started a group where they meet a couple times a month just to support each other. So they're able to get it out and it doesn't leak out in their families and with their parent. And they've found that to be really helpful and beneficial. So I agree, Steve. I think that's a great idea to find some people that you can share it with.
And one final little thing is that when you're with her, most likely her long-term memory is in pretty good shape. And so I would sit down with a little notebook and say, Mom, tell me about some things that you remember. Like, do you remember going to school for the first day, first grade, or do you remember what it was like in high school, your senior year, whatever? See if you can get her talking about some of those memories that are so clear to her still, and it makes her feel great that you're interested. It also makes her feel great that she can still remember those things, even though it's kind of hard to remember some of the short-term stuff. What do you think about that?
I can do that. I mean, I live with remembering those things myself. For example, the 4 bowls of oatmeal every morning. When I make oatmeal, that's where it takes me to.
Have you told her that recently? I mean, that's just precious.
No.
To tell her, Mom, I'm still thinking about this whenever I prepare the oatmeal, and Mom, it's because of you that me as a man can prepare that oatmeal. You made me a competent man that can.
Yeah, because those are the stories you'll start sharing after she's gone, but why not share them with her, right?
Yeah. And then she might tell you, well, there were times when it wasn't easy to get that oatmeal on the table or whatever, some things that maybe you weren't aware of. So, and then maybe that helps a bit with the sadness that you've walked away with something that's going to be there with you forever, your little notebook.
Then there's stories to pass down to the future generations. You said she was a dynamo. Capture that. Take this time to be with her to capture those stories, to share them with your future generations.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to send you a copy of Healing is a Choice. I hope that will help you in this process, because there's some really, really, I think, good material on the grief work we all need to do when healing is to be complete. 1-800-229-3000. We'll go to Maria right after this, but I have to talk to you about, you've heard us talk about Lumina, and we've got a special here that anybody signing up for Lumina, you get a copy of the 1-year Bible for women, and it's just with every ticket, 1-year Bible for women. What is Lumina? Lumina was designed to help women. When you come, it's really going to be a transformational experience, I believe. You're going to leave, well, we say it's where women rise. I think you're going to be inspired to go back, dig deeper into the Bible for the truth that God meant to be shared, not what somebody else interprets it falsely to mean. I think you're going to be inspired to make a difference in your family with God's Word, and inspired maybe even to make a difference in the community, to not stand for the fact that, well, the school isn't supporting my values while they're promoting somebody else's values that I don't agree with. There's nothing political about asking a school system to be fair and to support the truth that you want your children to believe. So we're hoping that it will equip you with some great biblical truth for women, that it will inspire you to make a difference and really motivate you to dig deeper into the Bible. And we've got some great Bible teachers. Lauren Green McAfee is going to be teaching. Jen Wilkin, many of you know of her Bible study material. And, Nicole C. Mullen not only is going to perform, but she's also going to teach. And what a story of abuse, betrayal, and recovery she has. As I said, you sign up between now and August, end of August, you get a free 1-year Bible for women. It is designed for women, November the 3rd and 4th, and it's in this great, wonderful place, the Museum of the Bible, right there in Washington, D.C. So give us a call, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We'll tell you all about it. Or go to newlife.com. There's a banner there that says Lumina, and it'll tell you all about it. Would love to see you there. In the meantime, Saturday, we're here, Dr. Jacqui Mack-Harris, Chris Williams, and myself, freeing people from the, well, God does the freeing, but we might give you a suggestion or two that would help you to experience the emotional freedom that God wants you to experience. You know, Jesus is the Prince of Peace. If we believe in Jesus, but we don't have peace, we've got some work to do. But boy, is it ever worth it. We make the pain count. We'll be back. Hi, Steve Arterburn here. The thing that we've been doing here for over 3 decades is trying to help people see there is a better way. And I don't know of anybody that doesn't have something that they couldn't be working on.
The Repurpose Life online conference is Saturday, September 24th. The topics addressed are for anyone who wants to move from the pain and struggles of the past towards a healthy, happier future. Steve and Misty Arterburn, Chris Williams, and Becky Brown will cover topics like how to move from past hurts and trauma, building your community, codependency, failure and recovery, recovery from the pandemic, and much more.
The Repurpose Conference is something I'm really excited for because it really is addressing the life recovery process. But again, we all need recovery.
To register or to find out more about the Repurposed Life online conference, call 1-800-639-5433 or liferecoverygroups.com. Chris Williams on coaching.
Oftentimes I get asked, what is the difference between therapy and coaching? The biggest difference between the two is that a therapist is going to be looking for a diagnosable mental health condition, whereas a coach is going to look at a particular issue and help a person work through that.
If you need a coach, call New Life today and ask about the New Life Coaching Network. Our coaches have been trained and screened with the same intensive process we use for our network counselors.
If you're looking at an issue in your life that you just kind of want to change, whether it be your weight or leadership or other areas of behavioral patterns, check out coaching. There can be some really, really helpful things for you.
Take control of your life and take action to achieve your goals. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 and talk to us about getting a New Life coach. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're absolutely back. I want to mention one more thing about the Emotional Freedom Workshop. Shame is not emotional freedom. Desperation means you're not emotionally free. Rage and anger and a need to be in control of everything is not emotional freedom. And if those are the things going on in your life, please come and let us help you this Saturday, day after tomorrow. All right, let's go to Maria, Albany, New York. She listens on the podcast for New Life. Hi there. How are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
Pretty well, and glad that you've called, and I'm hoping that we can help you. So what is going on in your life today?
Well, we're raising my 8-year-old grandson.
Okay.
We've had him for 4 years.
Wow.
Since my son passed. And I have joint custody with the mother, but I have legal fiscal custody. And the mother sees him very infrequently. Sometimes there'll be a whole month. There have been a few occasions where she's gone a whole month and has not seen him.
Wow. You are a hero. You are definitely a hero to that child. Oh, I'm so glad you're there.
Thank you. He's a blessing. He really is. So she was supposed to better herself, get a job, get an apartment, try to get out of the lifestyle she was in. She did get a job, but she still doesn't drive. She had an apartment, lost that. So obviously there's still stuff going on in her life that isn't right.
Right. Okay. And what's the question for us about all of that?
My question is, should I go for full custody of him? I keep feeling I need to. It's been 4 years. She's 30 now. She's going backwards, not forwards.
Right. Yeah. Well, let me just give you my opinion, and then I want to hear from these two Dr. PhD women give you the official answer, okay? But my opinion is I would want you to have full custody if you're willing, and it sounds like you are actually this child's parent. You're doing the parenting, and to me, it's more securing for him to know you're not going to go away. Right now, if I was an 8-year-old, I might say out loud, boy, I wish I was with Mom, but I probably would be a bit anxious about that happening, given that she's so inconsistent in my life or even not present. And I think it might end up giving him some stability and security that you might not even know he's struggling with. So that's the one thing. And the other thing is I would like to see Mom become more of an aunt kind of person in his life than him seeing her as anything but the birth mom. I see a great life for a child like this who becomes loved by grandparents the way you have. You become the security, the stability. I think it's all upside for you and for this child. If you are of full custody, I don't see a lot of great things coming from somebody that after all this time can't even, keep the apartment, drive, things like that. But let's hear from the official doctors on the program here. What are you guys thinking?
Well, just to clarify, Maria, it's you have full physical custody. Is that what you said?
Yes. Well, we have joint custody, but I have legal fiscal. So if we can't agree upon something, what I say goes.
Okay. So essentially, yeah. So you have some concerns, it sounds like, that if you don't have total full custody in all areas, that there could be problems. Is that your concern?
Yes, because of the lifestyle.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I think, whatever you can do to make this boy's life secure. And then, this mom is still young, but you're saying it's not going in a good direction. As if she does become a more stable person, right? And then encouraging some relationship there, you can do that. But I really do hear that you are thinking of what's in the best interest of this child, and you don't want there to be problems for him down the road. And that makes sense, right? So I don't hear you trying to alienate her, but it's really based on her choices and behavior, whether she's fit to be in his life or not.
Yeah. Dr. Harris, what are your thoughts here about a grandparent going on for the full custody?
I think it's a great idea. It gives him a sense of stability. He will know where he is at, and there's still room for relationship with Mom, and she may not get it together till he's grown.
Right.
And so he should have the security of a stable home now. And if that's something you can make happen, I would think it would be.
And he may not know the difference, right, in the legalities, but you do, and you know that then there won't be problems.
Yep.
When we come back, I want to just weigh in on why I think you having full custody improves her chances of getting better. I'll do that right after this message. You are listening to New Life Live. Dr. Jacqui Mack-Harris, who will be joining me and Chris Williams for Emotional Freedom this weekend, Dr. Jill Hubbard, who was joining me last weekend for our parenting workshop for adult children. We'll be back after this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit its addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of the Life Recovery Bible personal size, the 1-year Life Recovery Prayer Devotional, the New Life Journal, a New Life pen and highlighter, and a New Life zipper tote to hold it all. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, Steve Arterburn here, and talking with Maria, and Maria has this 8-year-old grandson. And Maria, I said, I think you getting full custody actually improves the chances of his mother getting things together, moving forward. From two standpoints. One, she may be sabotaging herself because down inside she's so afraid she might have to raise this child, and she knows right now she's not competent. So it takes some of the pressure off of her to get better. She doesn't, you could see how she might be afraid. If I get a little bit better here, they're going to want me to take this child back, and I can't do that. So it takes that pressure off. At the same time, once you have full custody, she has officially lost her child fully. And that could be a motivator for her. She could, wake up and finally, as we say, that might cause her to finally hit bottom and decide it's time for me to get my act together. So I don't see any downside. I see some upside from you doing that, and I really, really appreciate what you're doing. And you're kind of the step parent that's becoming the parent, and I'm going to send you Understanding and Loving Your Bonus Child. There's some great stuff for everybody in there, and I'll send you How We Love Our Kids. Mylan and Kay Yurkovich wrote that. And I'm just going to ask everybody to pray for you and this young 8-year-old, and thank you for being a hero. Mm-hmm. Really, thank you so much. Speaking of heroes, let's say hello to the hero, Larry Sonnenberg. Larry, thanks for being here. Yeah, what's going on?
Thanks for having me.
You bet.
Day after tomorrow is Emotional Freedom Workshop.
That's right.
And it's not too late. This is online. You don't have to travel anywhere. You don't have to stay anywhere. You don't have to plan meals. You can just sit on your sofa in the front room and put the laptop on, and you're there.
That's right. And Larry, what's the problem with people that need emotional freedom? There's not most likely for most people a crisis. Like every man's battle,
good point.
there's usually a crisis, everything comes to a
Good
head.
point.
Emotional freedom is for people that it just keeps nagging at you.
Lingering
and
stuff.
you just wonder, is this the way life has to be? Don't wait for the horrible thing to happen that isn't probably ever going to happen. Get with it today. But do you have a testimony for us?
Well, funny you should ask.
Okay.
I attended this workshop to learn how to find freedom from my current struggles that stem from past strongholds of guilt, feelings of inferiority, and enabling behaviors that have controlled my life. I learned about the negative reactive thoughts and emotions I needed to identify and challenge, the mindset and beliefs to now embrace, the behaviors I need to change, and the steps I need to now take to transform my life and truly find freedom. It's another example where somebody has realized that this is the beginning of change. There are steps to take, there's work to do, there's things to process, and this is the beginning. And you can have that beginning. It's not hard. It's compared to a live 3-day workshop, it's fairly inexpensive. So I just want to encourage you to sign up now. Give us a call at 800-NEW-LIFE and tell them you're interested in this workshop.
Yep. And thanks for that testimony. And, of course, we're here because people support us. That's how we get to do what we're doing. And if you want to be part of the great things that God's doing through New Life, call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE or just go to newlife.com.
When you give, every testimony you hear, whether it's somebody taking that very first step and not a dramatic change, but they know it's in store, you're a part of that. If you hear one of those dramatic changes where every man's battle has changed somebody 180 degrees and life is different, you're a part of that. So the first domino to fall in this ministry being effective and letting God's Holy Spirit do the work that He wants to do is making that gift in support of New Life. So
that's right.
We'll appreciate you doing that. And thank you, everybody who is. Very meaningful.
And if you're too young to know what dominoes are, you can Google that. And, they do fall. Thank you, Larry.
Okay.
Appreciate that. 1-800-NEW-LIFE is the phone number to call. Let's go to Stephanie from New York City, New York. And she watches us on Facebook, and we're glad that she does. Hi there. How are you doing, and how could we help today?
Hi. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I just have a question about how do I deal with vacillating and self-sabotaging behaviors.
Okay.
Yeah. My husband is an avoider, and I think he's an avoider, and I'm in recovery. I'm actually going to the Emotional Freedom Workshop on Saturday.
Oh, good.
Awesome.
So I'm looking forward to that. But I just seem to get motivated initially, and then I think whether it's at work or with school or in relationships, I can have a tendency to kind of lose interest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're in the state of motivation, do anything, and then you lose the motivation. Right?
Or the commitment, yeah.
Or the commitment.
The commitment to follow through.
Right. Okay. So here's a little thing that I try to tell everybody that comes to a workshop that we do, that the least indicator of success is how motivated you are. Now, that just doesn't make sense to a lot of people because they've gone to motivational seminars and all of these things. But the motivation gets you started, and it goes away pretty quickly because maybe you're motivated because if you don't, you're going to be divorced, or maybe you're motivated because if you don't, you're going to end up in another horrible relationship, whatever it is. But the motivation goes away. When it does, the question is, do I have a plan that I'm committed to? So in other words, if I'm committed to never doing this, the real question is, am I committed to a plan that helps me never do this? So maybe Dr. Jill and Dr. Jacqui could tell you about elements of a plan versus just a one-time commitment to an outcome. What's the process to the outcome. Well, let's start with you, Dr. Harris.
I was thinking when you said vacillator that you were the type of person maybe that has an ideal and then they get disappointed and then they start to devalue it. And so I'm wondering, is your motivation declining because of disappointment, or do you just lose interest? And if it's just a matter of losing interest, I like Steve's idea about creating a plan. We don't achieve goals if we don't set any. And so are you, once you're motivated, setting a goal that you can actually measure and accomplish, and it's something small?
Well, and part of that, I think, is also with vacillators, often are ruled by their emotions, right? And like when things are very stimulating or intense. And so at the beginning of an idea, it's more exciting, right? And so it keeps you kind of riveted. But the day-to-day maintenance, well, that's kind of boring. Right? And so we fizzle out.
And when things aren't going well in life for vacillators, they do look for a new crusade. So now they're motivated to go jump into something else. But that's not really serving the purpose of achieving whatever the goal is. And so if you can get focused back to what is it that I'm trying to accomplish? What is it, whether school or work or relationship, what's the ask? What's the thing you're trying to do? And then can you come up with a plan to just do that? Get to the other side of done, and then see how you feel. I think
like putting a structure into place, maybe it's some form of accountability, because if you're having to meet with other people, then you're more likely to keep the commitment. Right? What are the things that make it easy for you to, in this way, become an avoider of the commitment, right? Because it's no longer fun and exciting, versus stay with it, right? Yeah. So that's something that I think, and hopefully this weekend, you can be looking at. What are the things that will keep you tied in, even when you don't feel like it? And here's the thing about being an adult. We have to do things that we don't feel like doing, right? We can't just base everything on our feelings or nothing happens.
Right.
All right, so when we come back, I want to talk to you about vacillator and defascinator, how that goes together there, and I hope that'll be helpful to you. I'm really glad you're coming to Emotional Freedom. And anybody else, it's not too late to sign up. You just call 1-800-NEW-LIFE, and we'll get you in, because we want to help you. That's what we're here for. We'll take this break and we'll come back. If you can help us do some great things here at New Life, well, we'd love for you to. And then every time you hear of an amazing transformation of an individual or a marriage, hey, that's on you. You were part of that because you support us. And we're so grateful when you do.
It had become very apparent that some of the things I was involved with were taking over my life.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. It's just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
After 7 years, he just one weekend, a completely changed man.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Workshop.
He said, I think this is something that every man should go to. Married, dating, it was definitely life-changing.
Now the workshop is coming to Dallas September 9th to the 11th. Don't wait for him to call. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com.
I just can't say enough of what New Life has done for our marriage.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again. You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here, and just want to mention that to Stephanie, the vacillation is part of this also, that you get fascinated kind of by, you're a fascinating person, you get fascinated by something, this could help me, this I could change, but then something easier or something different comes along and you easily get defascinated with the thing you were fascinated with. And it's just something that happens with certain personality, impulsive people, same thing, just, okay, this looks good, oh, that looks better, let's do that. And I think a part of success in life is coming to grips with that reality and then acting on it versus trying to make it look better, trying to do whatever to minimize what's going on. Let's go with it. And if I believe that this is important, write down why this is important and look at it tomorrow and the next day and the next day while I'm following the plan to get that problem resolved.
Right. So when you get defascinated or deflated, right, if you can hold on to what you wanted in the first place, right? I like that idea, Steve, of writing it down when you're in the height of being fascinated, right?
Know your why.
Yeah, no, and so that you can remind yourself when the feelings go away. And also the fact that sometimes people live under this illusion that things should constantly be fascinating and hold my attention. And I just haven't found the right thing, or he's not doing it the right way, and if I could just get things to this spot, then I will have achieved that. And that is a myth, right? Nothing is ever as ideal as you think it ought to be.
And sometimes they won't follow through on whatever the thing is because they've told someone and that person didn't have the reaction they expected.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Yes, we should do that. And so now they're discouraged and defascinated, as Steve says.
I hope that's helpful. We'll talk more about it on Saturday, and I'm really glad that you're coming there. I'm going to send you How We Love. I hope that's going to help a lot. Let's go to Kay, calling from Hawaii, listens online. And sorry, this is going to be our last caller. I wish I had time for more. Kay, how could we help you here toward the end of the program?
It's just a very, it's kind of complicated, but not really. I am in a situation that I'm trying to help and support my daughter in something that's happened recently, and unfortunately, it's difficult because I don't really know what to say or do with her.
Okay, what happened?
Help. And she gets very upset, and because she doesn't feel that I am supporting. It's.
This is your daughter?
Really kind of. Yes.
Okay.
Can you?
So what happened?
Very complicated. Very complicated. It has to do with her relationship with her fiance.
When are they getting married? When are they getting married?
I'm not sure now.
Okay.
To be honest.
What happened that disrupted that?
It was something that was sent to her at her workplace by someone that she has no idea who this someone was, and it implicated that her fiance was involved inappropriately with someone else.
Okay.
And this came out of the blue and absolutely threw her for a loop, which I understand. That's totally understandable.
And what was his response when she talked with him about it?
no, that's not true. Yes, I know this person, but it's been over. We did have a, knowledge of each other over the years, but it's been over. We do communicate infrequently just to keep in touch, blah, blah, blah. But she had no knowledge of this person, of the female involved. She had no knowledge of any of it. So naturally it threw her for a loop.
So what's your advice to her that she doesn't know if you're supportive or not?
To seek counseling, whether it be individually or couples.
That sounds like great advice.
How could that be a negative for anybody?
I have no idea. But
I have an idea. When she is venting and crying and upset and angry, she may not want advice. She may just need somebody to listen.
Yeah.
And so you've given the advice, and it was great advice. I agree. Absolutely, they should be talking to people, both of them individually and as a couple.
Yes.
And
because there's issues on both ends. I will admit that.
Right.
As far as I know.
And when you're with her, though, and she's, going on about how hard it is and whatever her feelings are, just being able to mirror back what she's saying and validate, just empathize and be present with her. Don't try to fix it.
Right, because she may feel that you're just pushing her off to someone else,
and she
right?
just
That
wants
you
to be
can't
there.
handle it. She needs you to be able to handle it with her and just listen. And then she may go get the counseling on her own.
Well, let me make a different suggestion here for you. Okay. I would say to her, even though she doesn't want your advice, I'd ask a question. Honey, what would the downside be for you asking him, if you don't know it, to give you the phone number of this person? Because you'd like to talk with her.
That's the interesting thing. It already happened.
Okay, and what did the person say when the discussion?
Basically the same thing he did.
Okay.
Their answers were pretty much the same as far as time frames and this, that, and the other thing. And he said that there has nothing been appropriate because they've been together for 5 years, keep in mind. So in those 5 years, this was prior to him even knowing her, that he had known this other person.
Okay. Well,
But she did.
Yeah, she didn't know about this other. She didn't know there was communication.
I was going to say, I'm also curious as to who this other person
Me
is that's
too.
trying to sabotage her relationship.
The other person is the person that this woman is seeing.
Okay.
But neither one nobody knows who he is.
Okay. So let's
Because no one's met him.
We're out of time, so let's leave it at this. If that was my daughter, I would say to her, there's a lot of mystery here. You didn't know anything about this other person, and you'd think you would have known about a friend, female friend that's been in a relationship with him, that they are in communication. So, honey, I'm just wondering if maybe we ought to postpone everything, delay. Would there be, because I had a couple in my office that a very similar thing happened in the engagement, and she is saying to all of us, oh, how I wish I hadn't done the easy thing at the time, and we just overlooked it, kept going, and now I'm doing the hard thing. So, I'd tell her, you talk to somebody who's seen this situation over and over again, and there's no points off for delay until she feels really secure in this relationship. What does commitment mean? Does it mean you're just not going to have sex with somebody else, or does it mean you're going to be fully committed to me, open, honest, and authentic? If you need some help, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Come join us for Emotional Freedom. We'd love to see you there. Thank you, Dr. Jacqui Mack-Harris, Dr. Jill Hubbard, all of you who watch, listen, support. Thank you. See you next time.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you. But you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.